What it do, y'all, and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, unfortunately it seems like I'm doing a video idea that a lot of other people have thought about for the summer, and I still wanted to show my personal opinions, the things that I would recommend in this element, which of course, as you can see by the title, is talking about some summer essentials that I would recommend. Now, I don't know how other people have done their concept on this video because I have strategically avoided watching these videos. But what I wanted to do was talk about 10 different general categories that I would recommend you get 1 to 2 products that you truly love in these categories, or at least are willing to test out in these categories. Now, I am me, so I have a plethora of each category, but that's me. You don't have to be me by any means, but I hope that by having such a plethora, I can present you guys with some solid formulas that you either love or at least are willing to consider. So with that said, let's just get into it. So unfortunately, I did not film this look. I started to because I was trying to do the kind of under the eye blush technique, but I learned more about some of the cream blushes that I have in doing this technique. So I don't think it actually worked, but if you like it, cool. I like the overall look. I love the eyeshadow look. I used my Adept Cosmetics Ninhydrin palette. I love Adept Cosmetics, you guys know. So, and I think that palette just recently became available again. But let's just dive on in. The way I'm going to do this video, like I said, it's going to be 10 very broad categories where I'm going to show you guys some examples. Feel free to purchase some of these examples or feel free to shop your collection to use whatever you already have, and then maybe in the future pick up something if you are interested in. So just in general, of course, something very basic, rudimentary that I'm sure you've already thought about are a good sunscreen. So sunscreens are extremely important, especially if you find yourself out and about consistently, or even if you're in the house. A lot of people don't realize how much sun damage you can still have even by just sitting in the house. And of course, sun damage just makes your skin more prone to wrinkles. You also can have some hyperpigmentation, all of that stuff. So why take that into consideration when you can afford, hopefully, a sunscreen? Now, neither of these sunscreens I would say are like drugstore pricing, but I caution you on going for the cheap because sometimes the cheap isn't always the best. Regardless, the two that I have loved to date, favorites, will continue to be repurchases, at least for right now, is this one from Beauty of Joseon. So this is their Relief Sun and Rice Probiotic Sunscreen. Now, I do want to just put an asterisk. I happened to be watching TikTok because I couldn't go to sleep, and I did see a video where somebody was referencing the fact that these were being counterfeited on Amazon. So I am going to link them through YesStyle because I know that they're good to go there. That's where I got my tube, and that's where I've gotten all of my other products from this brand. But I did just want to let you guys know that because I know a lot of us tend to just go to Amazon because it's easier. It is, but sometimes easier is not better. Anyways, though, I really like this sunscreen. I have done a short on it on my channel. In the short, a lot of people made sure to mention the fact that they felt I did not use as much sunscreen as I should. Lo and behold, one, that's how much sunscreen I've been using since I've ever been wearing sunscreen, so it is what it is. But also, two, that was actually a second layer that day because I had already put my sunscreen on and my whole skincare routine, and then I thought this could be a great video idea content-wise. So since then, I have definitely upped my application on this sunscreen, and I'll actually take the time to hopefully do another short for you all who were interested in seeing this with more actual application. And I think what would be cool is to actually do it head to head on my other favorite sunscreen. This is from Supergoop. This is their Unseen Sunscreen, and I have tried a plethora of the Supergoop sunscreens. I've tried this one, I have tried their normal, and then I've also tried their matte. They're matte. I don't particularly enjoy. I feel like it's not worth the hassle. If I want something mattifying, I'll just put a primer on. Even if I'm not wearing makeup, I still find putting a mattifying primer allows me to just get that mattifying effect. I just prefer the formulation in this. It's a lot more malleable and it's able to absorb into my skin better than I felt like the matte. I felt like the matte really balled up too much. As for the Go sunscreen, that is more of a typical sunscreen. So you're going to get that sunscreen smell, you're going to get that overly greasy look, and there's nothing wrong with that if that's the look that you're going for. But for me, I want something that's going to give me more of like that skin-like finish, if not slightly mattifying base, and these two do it for me. Between the two though, this Beauty by Josen is definitely more glowy, more radiant, so I do tend to reach for this on my no makeup days, or even when I know I'm gonna have a longer gap between doing my skincare and actually putting my makeup on. That way this can absorb a little bit more into my skin and it's not too high on the skin. Regardless, they're both good sunscreens. I've worn makeup on with both of these sunscreens, so I would not say get one or the other, but they both have their place in my collection. And yeah, like I said, I'm gonna aim to do a short where I feature both sunscreens on half of my face. I'll do it in the same placement that I did my other one, so you guys can get like more realistic information on that. This video is going up literally today, so I won't have time to do that before this video goes up, but I will aim to get that up maybe early next week, because I usually take off the weekends when it comes to my shorts and of course with my video content to give myself a break. Let's keep going with kind of the non-makeup items, and then I will loop into the makeup at the end because I just kind of want to get some of this other stuff out of the way. Of course, body care, in my opinion, is extremely important regardless of kind of how active you are outside and inside. So first, I wanted to just kind of talk about lotions. In my opinion, everybody should have kind of two types of lotions in their collection in general. They should have a fragrance-free lotion, especially if you were somebody like me who you have eczema. You know that if you use too much of a fragrance lotion for too long of a period of time, you're bound to get a flare-up. I am currently unfortunately getting a flare-up right now, which is perfectly fine. I know it'll go away, or I'm pretty sure I can find some over-the-counter medicine to kind of get that gone. But yeah, anyways, fragrance-free lotion is really helpful. Also, if you are a fan of oils, I find that just putting a dollop or two of this fragrance-free lotion and the oil on my hand and rubbing them together and then putting them on my skin is so effective, so like calming, and it's like a spa type situation. It's to die for. So I definitely enjoy this one. This isn't my favorite. If I had to go with like money being no option, it would be Eucerin, but Eucerin is expensive. So in the past, obviously, I picked this one up. I've actually been doing very good with my lotion application. Since getting into fragrances, I've truly upped my body moisturization situation, because before I definitely was one of those people, if I was wearing jeans, anything long, you wouldn't catch my legs having not a blip of lotion. Now that's not a thing. So it's good. It's good. You know, overall, I'm taking care of my body more. And yeah, I do enjoy the Lubriderm, but if I had to choose a favorite of the fragrance free, it would definitely be the Eucerin. And then of course, the antithesis of that, I would highly recommend you getting at least 1 to 2 different fragrance lotions. This one happens to be the one that I am working on at night. I love this cinnamon and sandalwood scent. This is the scent that I have in the shower gel in my shower for probably the rest of this week, and then it's going to be gone. I also have the spray that I will layer on top of this when I'm in my bed. I also love to kind of spray my bed with whatever my scent of the night is, because then my overall being is just fully encompassed and cocooned into whatever the scent is. So overall, I would just say have both types of lotion. When it comes to these fragrance lotions, I would honestly say have a night and a day base, or kind of scent. This is my night. Right now, my day that I'm using is the strawberry snowflake scent from Bath and Body Works. Like I said, this is my backup, so you won't see any dent action here. But my current one that I have in my bathroom that I'm working on, it's beautiful. It's such a beautiful light scent. And because I've been gravitating towards quite a few kind of fruity-ish scents, this has worked marvelously. For me, I'm not somebody who feels like it has to be the same scent that I layer on top or under when it comes to my lotion and my fragrance. But if I can get something that at least has the same key notes, or even sometimes if you wait long enough, it really doesn't matter because the scent will kind of just evaporate, then it is what it is. Plus, I tend to overspray my fragrances anyways. So even if the scent is not what the body cream is, you can get something unique and interesting kind of combination going on. So yeah. Anyways, I would definitely recommend at least 2 fragranced body creams and then of course 1 non-fragrance body lotion, just so that your skin is good to go for the summer months. I might actually accidentally have one too many categories, but we're going to keep going with it. And the next category that I want to talk about is something that you'll actually be using before you put on your body lotion. And that is, of course, a body scrub. Once again, this is just a backup that I pulled from my basket. And body scrubs have really been helping me. I had not a lot, but I had some hyperpigmentation like on my chest and on my back, which I think tends to happen depending on your workout routine, depending on how sweaty you are and how your body kind of deals with that sweat just pooling, etc., etc. And for me, this type of product has really been helpful. I've gone through 2 or 3 scrubs at this point. I am working on the Cocoa Paradise body scrub right now. I'm actually almost done with that scrub as well. And then I'm going to be hopping into the Way scrub. I'm so excited to try that one out. But definitely I would say the Bath and Body Works scrubs, they're not my favorite formula, but they're a solid formula, especially if you're getting them right around this time period for SAS. I also have enjoyed the Tropics, the tea tree hut. I've also enjoyed the Tree Hut body scrubs. Fantastic. And yeah, those are the 2 scrubs that I can think off the top of my head that I've enjoyed. Oh, I've also tried the Tula scrub. Don't particularly love that one because it's a chemical scrub. I prefer more of that physical scrub where you can actually feel it growing in, but there is that. And then just because I think that this is already going to be an extra category, I'm kind of lump this into this. And this is just a good body wash. I think a good body wash can really just set the mood, set the ambiance. A day or a night shower, I just truly think that having a solid body wash is great. This is my favorite scent from the Neutrals range that Bath and Body Works has, which is the Vanilla and Palo Santo. I love this scent. This is my absolute favorite. I feel like if you enjoy vanillas, but you also don't mind a nice lavender, highly recommend you getting your nose on this one. I talked about it in my Bath and Body Works vlogs, which if you haven't seen them, I will try my best to link them up in the cards. But yeah, overall, just leveling up your shower routine, I think could be very helpful. And these 2 types of products are extremely helpful. If you're wondering what the shower gel that I have in my shower, I actually have like 3 or 4 in my shower right now, but the main one that I'm targeting is the cinnamon and sandalwood scent, which I'm almost done with that one. And I will be actually very sad when I am, because that scent is discontinued, at least for right now. But I will remember for when Bath and Body Works brings it back, because I will definitely be picking up at least 1 or 2 bottles when that does happen. Okay, one more category and then we are done for the non-makeup categories. I truly appreciate you guys sticking to it with me. And of course, what is all of these creams, all of these shower gels, all of it without a beautiful perfume, fragrance, cologne to top on it? So I have 4 just kind of things that I'm going to be visually showing you. For me, I'm not going to tell you to shop the way I shop, because it's a mood, it's a whole situation. But what I would say is to get a nice like floral scent. And I would say if you have a particular fruit that you tend to enjoy, I would say get a fruity scent as well. Some fruity scents I have found you can actually wear not only in the summer and the spring, but also fall and winter as well. So that could also be another route for you to think about and kind of justify getting a certain priced perfume or fragrance. But the first one I'm going to be talking about is the Tom Ford Rose de Sheen. Somebody told me how to correctly say it in the comments. I appreciate you, but I already forgot. Let me see. Let me go to that comment because I know my pronunciations be a hot mess. Okay, yes, Rose de Sheen. That's how they told me to pronounce it. And for me, this is just a beautiful, beautiful, very strong rose scented scent. I did recently actually pick up another scent in this range, bigger bottle, for I think honestly cheaper than what I paid for this, which don't even get me started. But this is a beautiful, beautiful scent. I absolutely love it. I love the two scents that I picked up in the range. Honestly, I have a mind to sell this one and to get the other scent in a bigger bottle, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. But absolutely love that scent. Another scent that I've been getting so much use out of this summer is Atelier Cologne's Pacific Lime. This is a unique scent for me. It is very much a lime forward scent, very juicy, very tart, and it's great. It's great, refreshing. You can also, in my opinion, smell that like watery essence to it. So it's beautiful for like a beach day or just a very sunny day and you just want something light to cover yourself, but you don't want something cloying. You're definitely going to get it from this. And like I said, it's stupid unique because there are very few lime forward scents. I'm actually eyeing another lime forward scent, but I'm trying my hardest to be good when it comes to my purchasing, and everything's on sale and everything is becoming available. So there is that. Two more scents I just want to talk about very quickly is the Kayali Yum Pistachio Gelato. This is a beautiful, nutty, vanilla marshmallow type scent. I love this scent. And this combined with the other two products I showed in my short, my What I Spray in a Day short, are my favorite. So I have the pistache cream and then the Sol de Janeiro 71 chorizo, that spray I layer on top of this, and the cream of course is under. That combination, unbeatable. Unbeatable, because the chorizo gives that a little bit more sweetness, but the pistache helps that to settle, and so I get that for a longer period of time than otherwise I would. The last scent of course is Burberry Her Eau de Toilette. I love this scent. This is a beautiful kind of watered down, maybe a little bit of alcohol, like maybe champagne strawberry. It's a beautiful scent, absolutely beautiful scent. Highly recommend it. There is clearly a hair from my brush on my upper lip and it's driving me insane. Anyways, clearly recommend it. I love this scent, absolutely love it. I get so many compliments when I wear that. Okay, you guys have stuck with me and now we are on to the makeup. So makeup wise, I think in my opinion, the biggest or important things that I would say essential wise that you need for the summer is your base products. If your base products are a hot mess, overall, it's not gonna work. It is not gonna work. I forgot products. Okay, so yeah, all the products are done. This is just gonna continue to be a longer video. I apologize. Anyways, one of the most important things that you need to start off with, of course, is a solid base. Before that, a solid primer. So I definitely recommend you getting a solid primer for your skin type. If you did not know, I am combination oily, which means I get oily in my T-zone and I am pretty much normal in the perimeter of my face as long as I'm actively doing my skincare. One primer that I'm almost done with, and I actually see more benefit now towards the end, and also with my new applications that I've been trying over the summer months, is the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip. This primer truly is sticky, and that really becomes a beautiful thing in my opinion, and I really see the value when I'm using lighter coverage products. In those lighter cover products, I feel like they are forced to actually adhere to my skin and stay there for a longer period of time with a solid primer. And I feel as though this has already helped with a tinted moisturizer that I was not a huge fan of going into this summer. And this has allowed that product to have a better longevity than it did previously. And that's a good thing. It's always a good thing to see that. So highly recommend a primer in general. That one is gripping. Another gripping one I have is this LYS gripping primer. This is not nearly as gripping as that. So if you want like maximum grip, I would say go with the Milk. If you just want like a little bit of grip, go with this one. Not a bad primer at all, but just know there is definitely a difference in the level of grip factor there. And then two other primers that don't really tout being gripping, but they also help, but they do help with the sebum production that your body is going to create, meaning basically it helps for your oily factor to kind of be dialed down a little bit. So the first one is the One Size Secure the Sweat Primer. In my opinion, to get this to really like get into the pores and to really do what it's supposed to do, I use a sponge and I literally have it damp and I press this product into my skin. Otherwise, in my opinion, it ain't worth a cut. So keep that in mind. And then the other primer I would recommend is of course the Glow Recipe Strawberry BHA Blur Drops. I don't really see the blur factor, but I do see the beautiful benefit of it helping to reduce the oil factor on my skin. So these are two kind of non-gripping primers, and then I would also recommend a gripping primer. For me, I would say have one of each category, and then if you are somebody who has a need for blur, maybe have a third primer. Some people actually do wear 3 primers every day. For me, that's a lot. I only wear 1 primer, and I think for the summer that could be a lot on your skin. Whereas summer, I really feel you should be lowering your coverage, lowering the amount of layers that you have. And you will see that in what I'm recommending today makeup wise. It is truly going to be a very, very minimal kind of coverage level that I would personally recommend. Next, I want to recommend a solid kind of base product routine, if you will. So as you guys know, if you've been following me on my like shorts journey, where every so often I'll upload a photo or a video showcasing whatever my look was for the day. Generally the days that I don't upload, either I honestly didn't put makeup on, or it wasn't something that I felt you guys truly needed to see, right? It was something very basic that like there was literally nothing interesting to talk about. So in this journey, I've realized that for me, I have 2 kind of methods in which I will do my actual like base makeup. One is where I will take a concealer, which is pretty much my skin tone, and I will take a brush. I've been using, it does matter. I guess it does matter. This is a concealing perfecting brush from Bean. I don't even know what this brand, I think I got this from BoxyCharm. Either way, I just take like you see like a kind of flat angled fluffy brush, and I will just dip right into the concealer and I will just apply it straight to my face wherever I want. The way that I use this concealer is I use it under my eyes and then pretty much any hyperpigmentation. I also tend to just like putting it around my mouth, down my nose, and on my high points, pretty much my typical concealed areas, and then kind of some other areas that I just want to conceal but I don't want to put foundation. Then I smooth out the edges with that brush, and then I will go in with the powder. I have found that this is one of the lightest, I mean, absolute lightest ways for me to have my perfected base look without it being very heavy and too much for these hot summer days that we have coming ahead. So yeah, I would highly recommend having some form of concealer type item like this. It doesn't have to be this Rim Beauty one. It's just one that I had, and in this moment where I am trying to just kind of get more use out of what I have and also learn more about the products that I have while also, using them more often. That was just the product that came up in my collection. The other type of product that I would recommend for overall base would be some form of tinted moisturizer. I have 3 different options here that I would recommend for different people, even though they're all in my personal collection. This one is the Toolless Skincare Radiant Skin Brightening Tint. Okay, sorry, I had to turn the lights on. I realized that I was squinting so much because it looks like it's gonna storm, and if I don't have optimum light, I start squinting really bad. So I apologize. Hopefully the lighting wasn't too bad for too long. But anyways, I was talking about the Toolless Skincare Brightening Skin Tint. This is very, very radiant. It says it in the name, and although I knew that going in, this was pretty much the only tube tinted moisturizer type product at the time that I could try, and I felt comfortable for it giving me some glow to my skin and that I could kind of remove some of that glow if it was too much. And I have, and I think it works. It definitely does have some SPF 30, but for the amount of product that I apply, it's not enough to get that full SPF 30. I actually do have it on my base today, and I think it's beautiful. I do think it's a great product, but for somebody who has oily combo skin, this is not the best product that I have found. I would recommend this more for people who have normal to dry skin. So keep that in mind. If you are of the same skin type as me, I would not recommend that one. Otherwise, I say maybe try to get a sample. I don't know if Ulta does samples, but that product is available at Ulta. The 2 that I would actually recommend for somebody who is of my skin type are these 2 right here. Now, these both have different coverage levels. The first one is the Yensa BC Foundation. It does have full coverage, although for me, even with the kind of full coverage effect of this product, I have this in the shade Deep Warm, by the way, and the Tula Skin in 25, and the Rim in 8 in Deep. So with the Yensa, I find because this is a kind of K-beauty brand, overall their products, in my opinion, are never very cakey, very heavy. So even with this full coverage, I don't feel like my face is bogged down. I don't feel like it's too much on my face. I don't use it to full coverage. I am definitely a medium coverage type of gal, but the finish that this has on my skin is immaculate, and it stays on my skin in that manner for a long period of time. So that's why I want to recommend this one. And then the other one is, of course, the Juvia's Place I Am Magic Foundation. I have this in the shade Legos. This is a very new favorite that I have grown to love. As soon as I picked it up, I picked it up from Ulta, I want to say, but they also have it, of course, at the Juvia's Place website. So you can always get this on a sale somehow, some way. This has a beautiful high, medium, full coverage, but beautiful satin skin finish. These have very similar skin finishes, although I want to say this one has a little bit more skin-like. It's a little bit more skin-like, whereas this one's just slightly more matte. This one has an SPF, this one doesn't. They're both great. Different price ranges. This one you can only get, I believe, on the Yensa website, and it's quite expensive. I want to say it's $40. You can get this 50% off. Sign up for their newsletter, wait till you get that email, then I would say go for it. This one is like $12, $20, something around there. So not nearly as expensive. And you can also get this one on sale as well. So definitely would recommend some form of tinted moisturizer type product, as well as one kind of full concealer type product that you can wear instead of wearing some form of tinted moisturizers. For me, I would not recommend going any heavier than that over the summer, especially if you're leaving the house. depending on the climate, it may not be a big deal, or you just may not feel comfortable going less than, a full coverage foundation beat. My personal recommendation though would to be stick to that concealer type base or a nice medium max coverage when it comes to a skin tint. If you are somebody who, let's say you take the concealer route and you put the concealer on and you're like, well, I look stupid because let's say maybe you picked the wrong concealer shade, or maybe you didn't blend it in the best, as I am known to do. Even on the short that I did, I was like, sis, you didn't blend. But the way I was able to cover it up was a good setting powder. This one happens to be a translucent deep setting powder from Milk. It's no longer available, unfortunately, so I can't link it down below for you guys. But just take, once again, as with everything, just take the concept. This is a skin toned color translucent powder. And what I find is when I apply this to my skin, it helps to kind of add a blank surface with this tone, but not really a tone. It's great. It really is great. This helps when, like I said, you don't maybe blend out that concealer the best. What you will find though is in those concealed areas, this it melts into the skin just a little bit more. And another reason why to have a solid primer is because if you do primer and just concealer, this can melt into the primed areas as well, so that overall at least your base has a solid surface and a solid base layer because of this. But even when you're using very little product. So this would be something I would recommend if you're gonna do the concealer route. Find some form of translucent deep powder that is in your price range. Hopefully it's a good one. This is the only one that I have in my collection, so it's kind of the only one I can recommend, unfortunately. But this type product I would highly recommend. Outside of that though, like especially if you're leaving the house or if you're somebody who's just always on the go, of course, a pressed powder. Pressed powders are always great. One of my favorites is actually the Pat McGrath Labs one. I have it in the shade Yellow. I believe she now has like a translucent deep shade as well. Okay, Auntie Pat, it's expensive, but Auntie Pat does 30 and 40% off. Okay, we can do it. We can do it, girls. We can do it. Okay, so highly recommend this. Otherwise, if you happen to already be on the Yes Style site, I would actually recommend this powder. This is actually the powder that I have on my face today. Now, I did find that this is a good powder. It is a good powder. It set my whole under eye area and the kind of under blush situation that I attempted. But I did find that when I wanted to kind of go back, because I had to kind of do a second layer of the cream blush. Hopefully you guys can actually see it, because otherwise me talking about this just is not helping the situation. But I went in for a second layer to make this a little bit more apparent. And when I did that, I took just what was remaining on my brush. There was not much. So do know that using this with a brush, you're not going to be picking up a whole lot of product. Initially, what I did use a sponge to kind of press it in. So that's how I'd recommend this particular product. Once you get the top layer off the Pat McGrath, it doesn't matter if you use a brush or a sponge. Both tools will actually pick the product up beautifully. Alrighty, so we are getting into the final categories. I know you guys are excited. I know you are. Of course, cheeks. I think cheek products are always going to be important. In the summer, I recommend personally you using only creams. And I say that because creams can meld and melt together a lot more seamlessly. And they also, in my opinion, can be less heavy on the skin, looking at least, than a powder. In the winter, it doesn't matter. You're bundled up. You want all the layers. So doing a cream blush and a powder blush, it's not a big deal. And I'm not saying it's going to be a big deal if you do it during the summer, but in my opinion, in my kind of technique, I have truly enjoyed really sticking to cream products during the summer, especially this summer. So I have quite a few options that I want to recommend to you guys. And in the event that there's a short or something, I will do my best to somehow link it, show it, something. So of course, my Half Magic blushes. You guys know I have been like a fiend. I have been an actual fiend with these. I have Magic Brownie, Only Drama, my favorite, and then Sexual Frustration. All three of these blushes are great. They definitely have their own time and a place. If you want something a little bit more natural and you're my skin type, I would recommend Magic Brownie. If you want to go full on adventure, balls to the wall, I would say Only Drama. If you want something a little bit in between, Sexual Frustration. All three are great. Absolutely love them. Highly recommend. Another blush that it took me some time to find the beauty in it is the Makeup by Mario Cream Blush in Rose Crush. This is beautiful. I've worn this multiple times now, both under and over powder. And I mean, just my normal application of powder, fantastic. Absolutely highly recommend. Please swatch it at least and see what it looks like on your skin tone. Okay, some other recommendations just for a cream cheek vibe. Overall, the vibe. Of course, one size. For me, this brand makes insanely pigmented products. So if you're somebody who maybe you want to go something a little bit more elevated than a Juvia's Place, this is the brand I would recommend for the same amount of pigmentation level. This cream blush, don't sleep on her because you will look stupid. You'll look stupid. Last time I used this palette, I literally only used the cream blush. Honestly, that's my favorite part of this whole thing is the cream blush. So when I reach for it, I want the cream blush. I do. It is what I want. Some other cream products that I want to recommend, of course, is the LYS bronzer. I kept the shade in Strength. I gave away the shade in Courage. This is a beautiful, beautiful, malleable cream bronzer. You can draw it on, which I love. Then you just blend it out. It's immaculate and very, very, very well formulated. It works beautifully with their whole range as well. In the event that you've tried their range or you're interested, definitely would recommend. Some other cream products, of course, are from Juvia's Place. So I have a cream blush in Coral Rose, and then I have the highlighter in Golden Hour. Both products are beautiful on my skin tone. I actually have the highlighter on today. The cream blush is the one that's more towards the back. If you can see one, it's going to be this one. The other cream blush I put on today, it used to be a favorite. Now there's another here. It used to be a favorite. Not so much after trying these. These are fantastic, fantastic products. Highly, highly recommend. Two more cream products in general that I want to recommend to you guys. And these are two more cream bronzers that I have tried recently with my kind of skin tint routine. And of course, the one that you guys have seen most often is this Glossier Solar Paint in Volt. Where did Val? In Volt. This is a really nice kind of skin tint level of a bronzer. It is very, very red based though. So if you don't like that, I wouldn't recommend this. This is more, I would say, of a gel formula. I think that's actually in the name. And it's great. It's great. I wouldn't say that I see all the luminous that it says that you see, but I think it still adds a nice skin-like finish overall that I do truly appreciate this. And it's beautiful on the days that I wear, like I said, the skin tint. Other times, like yesterday, because I don't think I put this on today, because I messed up once. And I took that base off. I don't think it's on right now. Anyways, is the Rare Beauty bronzer stick in On the Horizon. So originally I had tried this, I want to say with like a full-on bronzer or with a full-on foundation, and I didn't see any real difference. I have now tried it with, like I said, today I'm using the Tula Skin, and as you can see, I'm gonna have to start rolling this puppy up to get some use. This is a good bronzer. I like it with the amount of coverage that I have with the skin tint. I find that between this and the skin tint, you can really see that difference in my skin. I truly like it. I truly appreciate it. So yeah, sometimes it's in the moment of, even if it's a good product and you don't see the value then, keep it. You might see the value later. And I definitely can see the value now. Okay, originally I was going to put these into like 3 different categories. I'm tired. Y'all are probably tired too. So we're going to put this all into one category, which is lips. There's so many different ways that you could do a lip product, whether you could go more matte, whether you can go more glossy, whether you can go in a bullet, where you can go in a kind of wand type packaging, all of the effects. I'm not going to really run down lip liners because lip liners are very much subjective. If you guys did not know, the 2 that I'm getting so much use out of lately is Americano Brown from Revolution, and then also Makeup Forever's Limitless Brown. I will have both of those linked down below, but don't need to get too far in the weeds with that. Otherwise, let's talk about some other lip formulas that I would recommend for you guys. If you want something that's more of a mattifying finish, but does not have a lot of heaviness to your lips, the Revolution Lip Cream in the shade Americano Brown and Rare Beauty's Lip Creams in Brave. These are 2 formulas that I have tested out, and I find that they are very creamy, very fluffy on the lips. They add that like mattifying finish, but I don't feel like it's very heavy. I don't feel as though it's very drying, none of that. So highly could recommend that for the summer. Let's say you like the look of that, but you are not a wand type person. You want more of a bullet. I only pulled out 1, but of course, always I would recommend MAC lipsticks. I love matte lipsticks. I love MAC's lipsticks, so I'm gonna just blanketly say that. But also the House Labs Le Crayons are really nice. I have this one and another shade that I've still yet to try. The other shade is in Honey Matte, but yeah, I definitely enjoy this formula. I got a second shade, so I would definitely recommend this to you. Then let's say you like the bullet aspect, but you want some glossy finish to it. I have 3 different formulas to recommend. Huda Beauty's Cream Bullet Lipstick. I have this in the shade Gold Digger. If you follow my channel, you'll know that this is actually in a current project pan for me, and I'm getting to the bottom of it, so I'm very happy about that. I also have one of the Propa Beauty lipsticks. This one happens to be Believe It. I have like 4 or 5. I just pulled the first one. This is a really beautiful formula, very creamy. It's going to give you that like satiny sheen type finish, very similar to what's on my lips today, except I actually had to use a matte product, and then on top I put a lip gloss. The last bullet lipstick that I want to talk about is from Maybelline. I feel like so many people sleep on Maybelline's lipsticks, but these used to be the GOAT. This happens to be from their cream formula. This is in Untamed Spice. This is a beautiful kind of pinky brown. It really does work. I picked it up. It is definitely something that I could see me getting use out of, and I do remember getting quite a few compliments the day I wore this. So yeah, highly recommend. There's a price point for everything. Just find the concept that you're looking for, and then that's when I would say go to your price range. I'm sure you can find it somewhere. And then the last kind of range that I want to talk about are like wand type products that you can use as kind of a lip gloss because they are a lip gloss, or as a lip balm because they are a lip balm. I kind of use these interchangeable. That's where they're kind of lumped in the same category. First is this Romand Lip Glasting Water Tint. I have this one in the shade, I can't read the shade name. Oh, Vintage Ocean. Really beautiful formula. I love this formula. It goes on glossy and velvety. It does kind of dry down and just tint your lips. I like the effect of that. It's not the most apparent tint to my skin tone, but I do enjoy it. So yeah, I also have this balm, liquid balm from Too Faced in the shade Cocoa Kiss. I actually don't love this formula, not the formula. I don't love the color as much as I thought it was on my skin tone without a lip liner. It very much leaves a like milky finish. And for me, that's just, It's not the best when you're pulling this out, just trying to moisturize your lips and you kind of maybe over apply. But I did get a compliment, so there is that. I just personally don't like the vibes. So I have now moved this to my bedside lip product because I finished the one that was there. And if you follow my Project Pan, there's your hint on how I'm doing. I actually gave you guys 2 hints, but that's the only one that I pointed out today. So then I also have this Tower 28 lip gloss. I know a lot of people either very much love these or hate these. I love these because I can use these as a lip gloss or as a lip balm. That's how I finished up my previous one. Hint, hint. This one happens to be in the shade Almond, and it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. This is now in a purse that I need to put it back in the purse, or I'm going to be sorely sad when I need something to moisturize my lips that day. But yeah, highly recommend. Absolutely love this formula, and I love the versatility of it. That's the main thing, at least for me, when it comes to things now that I'm bringing in my collection. I really wanted to add some value, to be a favorite, and to have some versatility. And then the last product I'm going to be talking about today is from Rowan, and this is in the shade Charlie. I think that this is a beautiful, kind of very simple lip gloss. If you notice, all of the formulas that I chose for these lip glosses are all thinner in nature. So it's not going to be super opaque. There is a slight color on this one, but it's not going to be outside of my normal realm of like neutral. The reason that I stuck with those types of lip glosses, like I said, is because they aren't super thick. I could have recommended like the Pat McGrath, but hers are thick. And for me over the summer, I don't want anything thick at all around my face. Nowhere. So for me, it's just not something for me. So yeah, this was a lot. I didn't touch on any kind of like highlighting concealers, anything like that, because if I'm not filming, I'm not putting that crap on. Who has the time? No ma'am. So yeah, these are the categories that I would say are super important over the summer. I'm sure I missed something, and I can't wait to watch all of the other creators' version of this video to see what I could add to my collection if I choose to, but also to see what they think are essentials for the summer. These are what I would say. I would really stick to the cream products, apply all your creams at once, and then put your powder on, and you get a beautiful effect. Of course, I did forget to talk about setting sprays. That is a very important step. The main reason I didn't talk about setting sprays is because I don't have a favorite. I don't have a favorite. I have ones that I have enjoyed for the moment that I've had them. So yeah, I think that's all I got for you guys today. It was a long one. I apologize, but I hope I was able to give you guys some couple of great recommendations and maybe point you in the direction of some new items that you weren't thinking about using, or maybe even new techniques that you weren't thinking about using over the summer. I will see you guys in my next video, which of course will be Monday. Bye guys.